welcome back to the channel. Today is kind of a big day. We're going to finally get to Nick's 72 C10. Oh, there she is. She's been waiting patiently. Nick brought me a C10 earlier this year to do some stuff to and get it going. Kind of cool story. His dad bought it brand new. He got it running again, put new tires on it, took it for a drive, and then the transmission went bad. This thing's pretty much all original, so we're gonna bring it up to date, get it going again, so Nick and his sons can enjoy it. I can't tell you how frustrating this is to be trying to run the tractor and steer the truck at the same time. But when it's just me, that's all I can do. We're just gonna follow the drive, and then you'll kind of pull out into the grass, okay? I'm ready. Or stop complaining about being a one-man show and have your 5-year-old pull you. That makes sense. This is way easier. Perfect, nice job. We're gonna get off on that side though. You wanna shut it off? Other way, yep. Perfect. I might be over-exaggerating on this, but I think it took more time to pull it in the shop than it's gonna take to pull the engine in it. Now some of you are gonna be going, what's in the box? And I mean, it'd be cool if it was like a big block crate motor or something like that. But as many of you probably suspected, if you don't know me, you should know I'm not an LS swap the world type of guy. But a guy cannot deny the reliability and the longevity of an LS engine. Man, this thing is cool. Original small block 350, factory AC option. Was really kind of a loaded truck for being a C10 back then. Back to putting a 5.3 in it. I don't blame Nick one bit. As technology changes, fuel injection is really nice. Long story short, Nick wants this thing to run like a newer vehicle. He wants to be able to teach his kids how to drive in it, not have to worry about pumping a carburetor or running in with any of those issues when it gets cold out or too hot out. So we're gonna throw this thing in. No fancy parts as far as hot rodding parts, maybe someday, but right now he wants this thing to feel like he's jumping in a factory LM7 truck, hitting the key, but of course with the style of the 1972 C10. Man, these guys should be building houses. This crate was very well constructed. So I gotta take this manifold off, mainly because I need a way to be able to put an engine plate on it. Well, that just sucks. Well, now what? I'll tell you what. We'll see if we can't put this through the first one and start lifting it, and while it lifts, hopefully it'll pull forward. Need more. Más. I think that's the only Spanish word I know. Should be able to pull it back and then move it forward and do all that fun stuff. Sounded important. Probably not. Did you see that lightning reflex? Didn't even let it touch the cherry picker. Fast. There we go. Wrong way, cherry picker. Cherry pickers will go every way but the way you want them. Well, everyone, this old girl's on the hoist now. Let's check it out. I hope that that's the only wiring that was eaten by mice. That would really stink if the whole interior was eaten up. Don't need that. What is that? Sweet mounting system. That's a transmission cooler, right? That is a tube and fin transmission cooler. Look at this, one giant loop, premium mounting system. That is slick. Maybe I've just been living under a rock, but I've never seen anything like that. Looks like we got a slight brake leak. It'll be fine. Also known as I'll fix it. Factory power steering truck, that'll make my life easy. Oh, look at that. Bluetooth spark plug wires. I bet this thing ran like a champ. Well, guys, I started without you. That wasn't the intent. The intent was to lift it up, get the fluids out of it so I could start working on it. And then, well, one thing led to another, and then we had the drive shaft out of it, the transmission shifter linkage unhooked, and then, of course, we got the motor mount bolts and stuff loose. I was going to be good and unbolt the exhaust. I don't know what it is, but I always get the most quality exhaust jobs ever. That one's pretty solid, just bangs against the floor. That one's all right. it looks like this custom exhaust was just done with a bench vise. Good thing I wasn't standing there. Woo! I might have just screamed like a little girl. I wasn't expecting the big boom. At least I don't have to unstrap it. Yeah, it was that easy. I always forget how simple these things are to work on, and sometimes I just make things take longer, I think, than they should. It's been just a little while since I pulled a motor in something like this. The last one I pulled out was from a square body, and this is actually the first swap I have done of this body style. All right. Well, evidently I didn't have it all the way empty. The good news is the floor is winterized.
Come out.
It should, yeah, you should be able to come forward.
I just want to come forward a little bit. We're almost over the balancer, so.
You should be able to get it lifted all the way up and then grab the tail shaft and lift it up. Go forward more. Pause.
Hold on. Down we go.
I'm glad Ben stopped by and helped me pull that because it was definitely a two-man job just to get it to swing over the radiator support. I'm just going to spray this down with some degreaser, power wash it all up so it's a little easier to work on. I mean, if you think about it, this thing has 53 years or 52 years, whatever it is, math's hard, of grime and grease on it. I kept telling myself I wasn't going to power wash the bottom of the cab, but I'm probably going to. It's a little gross. I usually just put something like Super Clean or Purple Power or Weed Sprayer, because when you're doing a lot of this, you're going to go through a lot. I mean, I don't know how clean it's going to come, but hopefully a little bit better than this. Mainly because I got to run fuel lines through the frame rails. I don't have to do much on the bottom of the cab, but it'd just be nice to have it clean. I mean, it's getting better, but this cross member has so much grease kicked on it, it's going to take a couple times. Alrighty, well this is going to take a while, so I'll be right back. Not spotless, but not dirty anymore. Washed down to some bare metal here and there, so I'm probably going to hit it with some Rust-Oleum just to make sure that that stuff doesn't rust. And of course, the bottom side cleaned up really nice. Well, since I had it down to that bare metal, I went ahead and took some chassis black and just topped off all of this where it had some bare metal. Now I just need to take the old battery cable off and the old fuel line so we can run some new ones. It's always kind of fun working on this old stuff. Now, all the frames have nutserts or some type of insert in them. Everything's threaded. These are always just through bolted with nuts on the backside, and it just takes a little bit longer to get them apart. On a lot of the square bodies, I just go ahead and tie into this line and use it again. But if you would have seen the fuel that was in the fuel line on the fuel pump, we're not going to do that. They did not want these fuel lines going anywhere. How many bolts do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 bolts holding on a 5-foot piece of line. That's impressive. I have no idea what's in this for fuel, but we're about ready to find out. Hopefully nothing. That was, I think, the evap line. There's some dust. Huh. That makes the guy feel a little better. You know, there's all types of room to work on these things until there isn't. Oh, there's the old gas I dumped. It landed nowhere near that caramel colored stuff. Yeah, that should burn. Here's the deal, and I know someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but this transmission cross member doesn't need to come out. A lot of the swaps, they use them and they have clearance for the dual exhaust that'll come through here instead of having to run it under. I don't feel that it's going to be necessary for me, mainly because being a long box, I'm going to have to maintain this brace where the drive shaft goes through. So it's not like I can tuck the exhaust higher than what the frame is anyways. So we're just going to run the exhaust straight underneath this and back. So it's time for some engine mounts. I'm going to use these Speedway swap mounts. It seems like they're kind of the go-to for these. And the nice thing is they use the LS1 engine mounts, so nice factory bolt-in style. We'll see how they fit. They're not really marked left or right, so I guess we'll wing that. Wait a minute. It came with some instructions. I'll edit out that butt shot. You know, come to think about it, I got in here with this mount. I probably should have brought the other one with me. Now I gotta climb back out. All right. I can't do this without the motor mount, idiot. I guess I'll go grab that. Better. Oddly enough, compared to the square body, there's not a ton of information compared to those on LS swapping the 67 to 72s. Square body, it's all over the place. Okay. We could probably tighten those up just a little bit, or not. Got the engine up in the air, mainly because I had to pull the old wiring harness off of it because we're going to use a different one. And after I got it up in the air and the engine stands off of it, I did not notice this before. So you can see that I think this is a Trailblazer pan because it has the hole through it. It's an aluminum LM4 block. But it kind of confused me because it has the hole in the oil pan and it's also a two-wheel drive transmission. So I was just curious. I went over and looked at the receipt and it's out of a 2004 SSR. So that makes sense why it's an all aluminum 5.3 with a two-wheel drive transmission. Obviously that pan's not gonna work because the sump's in the front and the cross member's in the front. So we gotta do something about that. So we'll get this box opened here. Now let's take it over to the table. Basically, I forget what number the Holley pan it is. It's a low profile one of their hot rod pans. Packaging galore. And the reality is I was gonna go with this pan no matter what, mainly because of its lower profile. You can use a truck pan in a square body or one of these, but the sump area hangs down so low that if you were to lower the truck or you were to drive over something that's there, it's not gonna hit the cross member first, it's gonna hit the pan. And with these being aluminum pans, they're just gonna break and dump all your oil out right there. This is a take like 3,432. We did not know that the SSR block's not tapped for a dipstick, but there's a hole there now. And after clearancing the pan, we should be able to get it, maybe. What do you think, Dave?
I think this is the last time taking this oil pan off.
it's the last time we're taking off the oil pan tonight.
Oh no.
If it doesn't happen this time, then we're just quitting.
Oh no, it's gonna be a you problem next time.
It's a me problem. It's always a me problem. I'm just gonna stand here while you do all the work.
I don't know, I feel like this is very familiar.
All right, I think we should be able to slide it back so they sit on the core support. So I like to be able to back the bolt out the back side. Move it down just a little bit. Okay. The motor is in. David and I got this thing in, centered up, the transmission's bolted in. Still have to tighten up some of our hardware here. Ran into a couple snags, and I'll tell you about them right now. I already told you about the oil pan. The oil pan was a Trailblazer pan. It had a hole through it. It was a front sump. Wasn't gonna work with this cross member. Next, because the dipstick originally went into the oil pan, and that's how it mounted, we had to drill this block to fit a dipstick tube. Not a problem, a little bit of hassle to make it fit right. Next problem I had, as you can see, there is no power steering pump. That's because the SSR pump has this gigantic reservoir that comes off to the side versus this one that just has this small reservoir. It's also a lot easier to make the power steering lines mount up into the steering box with that. And I'll show you that in the next video. Last, let's talk about this AC compressor. This bracket that came on the SSR hugs this compressor really tight to the block, which is nice because I didn't have to clear any of this frame. The problem with that bracket originally bolted to these two holes that was on the oil pan. There's our original dipstick hole. That's why I had to drill one over here.
The reason it's a problem that that AC bracket bolted to that oil pan is that now these are the only 2 bolts that are holding this bracket on here. I don't think that's gonna be enough. I have an idea how to make it work better. I'm just not sure if I'm gonna do it yet. I might try a truck AC bracket just to see, but I am pretty sure I'm gonna have to trim on the frame there, and there's just not a whole lot of room to do that on this truck. I mean, that would really make this top rail thin if I had to trim that. But the first step's done. We got the old one out, and Nick's truck has its new power plant, and this 5.3 fits just like it's supposed to in its new home. So that's where I'm gonna call it quits for this one. The next one, I'm gonna show you what I decided to use for a fuel system. I'll get that all mounted in and get some fuel lines ran, and then I'll also lay in the wiring harness I'm gonna use. And I guess I'll just see how far we get. Thanks for watching. Please like, follow, and share with a buddy if you enjoyed it. It shouldn't be too long till we get this thing going and on the road.